because this section's totally all over the place, we'll jump to Mo Salah. He's back to breaking records, and it's, you know, we're back in the only Mo Salah tweets, and we're back in the, you know, in the big ones, and he just continues to find new ones to break. And there was a few when it was like consecutive home games and all that kind of stuff. You know, he would have broken his record for most consecutive goal involvements had he not had the assist chalked off for Luis Diaz at Tottenham Hotspur, breaking him and Jamie Vardy's existing record of 15, I think it was. But he's now the record scorer in Europe for a Premier League player. Which a little part of me is a little annoyed that came in the Europa League, but you know, he's overtaken Thierry Henry there, and when you start to do things like that, you start to realise, I think it's contextually difficult to place footballers when their career's alive. But that, for me, he needs to be put in the pantheon alongside the Thierry Henrys of the Premier League, and I'm certain he will be by the time his career comes to a close. Yeah,
Jurgen said that in his press comments, didn't he? I think he said, we appreciate him, but he'll be appreciated even more when his career finishes. He said people will realise, wow, we saw something special. And I think that about Salah, you know, you just obviously had the Ballon d'Or on Monday, and he came 11th. And listen, it's difficult because, you know, that 12-month period for Liverpool wasn't great, and Salah didn't win anything. But then you look, you know, 29. So in the calendar year, sort of 1st November to the 1st November, let's say, 29 goals. I think it's 16 assists. It's close to, I think it's 15 or 16 assists. He's gone past. He's become Liverpool's all-time Premier League record scorer. Egypt 50 goals. His best 30 goals. All comps for last season, for the 4th time in 6 seasons. He scored against Real Madrid, Manchester City, Manchester United, Tottenham, Napoli, Ajax, you know, big games. Fastest ever Champions League hat-trick away at Rangers. And you're sort of going... And it feels like all people say is he's not playing that well. You know, sometimes, you know, it feels, wasn't great today, but, you know, another 2. Like, he's normalised the extraordinary, hasn't he? I think that's the way I would describe. You know, he's made that kind of a shrug, almost. You know, he got a goal there against Forest. You know, that's 10 goals for the season already, all comps. I think it's 14 goal involvements in 13 games this season. And you're looking at it and going, it doesn't ever feel like he, until he does something utterly spectacular, as in the goal against City or that Chelsea strike, it doesn't feel like people sort of register with him in the wider world. It just feels like people go, Salah got another one, you know. Like, it just, he has made the incredible routine, and I mean that in terms of both the spectacular stuff, but also the spectacular consistency and the relentlessness of him. I mean, we could go back to transfers if you like, the summer, and the debate about whether Liverpool should have sold him or whether there was a price that was worth Liverpool's while. I was always of the opinion that there wasn't, you know, albeit you know, the money did get crazy, the talk did. Liverpool have been proven absolutely right by what's happened in this first few weeks of this season, because it's not just that he gets the goals or that he gets the assists, it's that no team can relax when he's on the pitch, because it's almost a little bit like there's some players that when their tail's up, you think, oh, we're in trouble today. It almost doesn't matter with Salah. Salah could be having the worst game of his career. You know, Everton is a good example, isn't it? Where he just looks. No team can relax because they think he's going to get one. He's obviously going to get one. He's going to, you know, okay, if he's not going to score, he's suddenly developed this sort of ridiculous through ball ability that he just finds these passes where. I don't think I've ever seen a player do it, where usually you see a through ball or a killer pass coming, you know, like say a De Bruyne or a Steven Gerrard, you sort of see them setting up for this sweep, and you can't stop it. But Salah just has this one where it's almost like the ball's under his feet, and he just forces it through into
the outside of his foot.
Yeah, or like he drags it and then plays it like the one for the second goal with Szoboszlai. He's adding bits. It's almost like he's sort of. He wakes up some mornings and just says, what shall I show today? Shall I play as a target man today and just sort of pin defenders. I'll just do that for a bit. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll start dribbling for a bit, and I'll just go. He went past a few in the Forest game on Sunday where it was almost like a throwback to like, oh, that was like 2018. You know, he just went through the middle of the pitch. He's got this, you know, he had a period where he just started scoring on his right foot, and you're like, oh, he does that now. Like, he just has this, like I say, innate ability to just do great things on almost a weekly basis. And you think now, I mean, listen, I wonder what he makes for finishing 11th in that Ballon d'Or. I think he's had 5th, 6th and 7th, and now 11th. He's got AFCON coming up in January with Egypt. I think that'll be a massive, obviously, marker for him. But I wonder if there's anything in him, if he has a really good season with Liverpool, that makes him think, I want to get back into that sort of top period, because Messi's gone now, really, you know, from that list. Ronaldo's gone from that list. Of course, Haaland's here to stay, Mbappe's here to stay, Jude Bellingham's here to stay. But there is space for someone who, if they can get, you know, the trophies to go with the incredible achievements, there is space for someone to be in that mix.
He's not going to win the Ballon d'Or playing in the Saudi Pro League. I think that's very clear thing on this as well. Just on the other couple, because I thought it was interesting that Pep Guardiola was asked about the Ballon d'Or last week, and he basically said, in his opinion, Messi wins it every year, but you should create another one. Yeah. And Haaland should win, and Haaland wins that for the last year. And not many people are going to argue, given the volume of goals that he scored. But I do think, to your point on Salah, and I think this goes for Van Dijk and it goes for Alisson too, this normalisation of greatness of, I don't know why it happens to Liverpool players and not to Real Madrid players. You know, like, you know, the same names end up in that list every single year in, year out. I know Messi's won the World Cup, but he's now playing in the MLS. You know what I mean? He's finished the judging year playing in a non-top 5 league in football. To be fair, he was actually I don't think France is in that either, to be fair, but which only strengthens my point, I guess. All those two, I mean, Alisson's not even in the running.
Onana was in the list, and Bono, who was obviously won the Europa League with Sevilla, so of course, and did really well with Morocco in the World Cup. But
it's funny how some players get to stay in there, whether actually they have exceptional seasons or not. Whereas it feels like Liverpool's players they've got to prove themselves, they've got to win a European Cup to even be mentioned a lot of the time. Yeah,
but I think also, and I have this debate a lot with people around Manchester United and Liverpool and the differences, and I always think that Liverpool is, the manager is the star at Liverpool almost. It's always been that way. The sort of, they have players who are brilliant and loved, but the manager is the one that, if there's a battle, he'll win it with a player. Whereas United, you know, you look at the flags around Old Trafford, Cantona, Dennis Law, George Best, Bobby Charlton, of course at the moment, but even before, you know,
the Trinity statue.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas Liverpool, you look around and it's Shankly and it's Paisley, and of course, now you will get Salah and you will get players, but the idolisation is more for managers than player. I wonder whether that manifests itself into, you don't realise that Liverpool have got stars almost because you're distracted by Klopp, or you're distracted by, you know, Dalglish in the past or whoever, that you're saying, oh yeah, like, of course, you know, you think of, I think Ian Rush is a good example of that. Like, Ian Rush doesn't really get, I don't ever feel like Ian Rush gets mentioned in the same breath as an Alan Shearer or you know, I heard someone saying the other day, like, about Haaland, and I thought, I get it, I get this comparison, but he said he's up there with you. With the Alan Shearers, with your Ruud van Nistelrooys, and I thought, I said, like, you Ruud van Nistelrooys, you know, like a very, very good player, but, you know, let's pick on sort of
levels
of play. And you're like, Ian Rush, 340 plus goals for Liverpool. You know, if you just think about how well Mo Salah's done, and he's 150 behind Ian Rush. That's just,
Gary Lineker kind of made this point on Match Today, didn't he? He was joking about how it was like records that were getting mentioned, and he's like, well, I didn't play in the Premier League, so it's like I don't exist. Was Gary Lineker's point, and Rush did, but obviously we got the tail end of Ian Rush's career, which does hamper him. But yeah, I think it's an interesting point for debate, but it's mad for me of like, it's like the Van Dijk thing. He got those nominations in like his first year of being at Liverpool, and he's had when he's been fit, I don't think he's been significantly worse than that season.
Yeah.
But it's almost like he had his run at it, and now he's never going to be mentioned for that. He's never going to have a chance of winning the Ballon d'Or.
I mean, to be fair, listen, he actually, Van Dijk's probably an example who he might, because he could be the fellow who lifts the big trophy. Obviously, he's captain of his country, he's captain of his club. But yeah, I know what you mean in the sense of it does feel like maybe there's still this feeling it's just a phase of Liverpool. It's still just a phase, whereas Real Madrid's success, Barcelona's success, Manchester United's success, I know they haven't had much recently, it's taken for granted that they're in that mix where it's almost like Liverpool they've come back into it, but they might fade away.
Success is going to fade away when Klopp goes away.
Yeah,
so really
possibly, but I do think that as well. I think it's maybe a little bit of an aside.
The Alisson stuff's wild though, mate. To not even have him in consideration is absolutely.
I saw like Randall Colomawani was in the top 30, and like, you know, I made a good impact at Frankfurt, made a good impact at the World Cup as a sub. Top 30 Ballon d'Or player, you know. Trent wasn't in the list, you know, talent wise. You're thinking, really, you know, there was a. Yeah,
Alisson was Liverpool's best player last year.
Yeah, Alisson's the best goalkeeper in the world, you know, and the only one that would have a case otherwise would be Ederson, as in, you know, he won everything, and he is a key part of the, you know, the best team in Europe. But yeah, maybe there is just an element of, you know, Liverpool don't have those traditionally have those stars that everyone in the world sort of relates to. They have them in the dugout as opposed to on the pitch.
But still, people watching, thoughts on that actually. Do we feel like the Liverpool's, you know, should have had more representation at the Ballon d'Or, or is it totally linked to the poor performance of last season, and is that therefore fair on them? But are there therefore double standards for certain players who can have iffy seasons but still be listed year after year? Let me know on that, people, if you're watching. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that show. If you want to check out the full Journo Insight for this week, head over to redmenplus.com. If you use the code Journo, Journo, you'll get it for half price for 2 months. Choose a club captain level subscription. Use the code Journo, get it half price, and fill your boots on Journo Insight this week.